Welcome to Learn This. Last week, we learned about what it's like to be in the photography, fitness, and animation programs. But this week, we're going to focus less on the animating and more on the illustrating. From graphic narratives and interpretive illustrations to more life drawings and environmental art. We're sketching down to the college program, Illustration and Concept Art, here at Algonquin College. This week, we're going to have a quick showcasing of the many courses Concept Art has to offer, a quick interview with a special guest from the program, as well as a drawing demo our guests would like to share. So don't go away, because today it's all about illustrating, concept, and art. So pick up those pencils and get ready to learn this. Hello and welcome back to our show, Learn This, the show where we present to you the different programs you can attend here at Algonquin College. I'm your host, Jade Hopkinson, and today we're going to go show you a new program offered here at Algonquin College. And to help us with that are three unique guests, Connor, Liz, and Jasmine. And they will be sharing their experiences in the program with us today. Now, to start off the show is my co-host, Lindsay Smelly, on location.
Thanks for that introduction, Jade. Right now, I'm inside of A building, and I'm going to go take a look at what's going on in concept art today. I was told that students are doing life drawings. They're getting into groups and modeling for each other to capture the concept of the human figure. After this, I'll be back in studio to do an interview with a student to get more information about concept art. Students taking concept art at Algonquin College will go through many courses throughout the program. Some of the courses students will be taking are life drawing, digital visual dynamics, environment and asset building, interpretive illustration, interactive media art, history of visual communication, and graphic narrative. Life drawing is a course where students will learn to draw the human figure. Here they will develop skills on form and proportion, not to mention on how it reacts to and with the space around it, as well as the light that hits it. By studying sculptures, models, and everyday life, they will slowly master the art of human drawing. Environment and asset building is a wacky way of saying Photoshop. Only thing is, no pictures are allowed. In this case, students have to make believable objects in an environment using traditional and digital tools. Interpretive illustration is a course where students can find out the right style for themselves. They'll learn special techniques and a whole lot about themselves. Interactive media art is one which is good for storytelling. Here they will exercise storyboarding, character design, and asset building. Regardless, it's a good thing to learn, especially if there is attention is paid to functionality and readability. Last but not least, graphic narratives. Comics are fun, right? Since they have grown in popularity, you can now learn how to make them. They'll learn sequencing, camera angles, cropping, and narrative structure. They'll also have a good mastery of space, time, lighting, proportion, and drama. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us here in studio. Now that you've gained some insight into the program, it's time for one of our special guests, Connor Harradine, to tell us more about what it's like to be a concept art student. So, Connor, why did you choose to enroll into this program?
Well, I had a pretty strong passion for drawing when I was starting off in high school. Obviously, I didn't do it too often, but as I started to get back into it during art, and I just knew that I had to just follow this passion of drawing, and the concept art and illustration program was perfect.
Okay, so can you explain to us what your favorite class is?
Well, life drawing is one of my favorite classes, and it's mostly because you have to kind of sit and be patient while you're drawing your subject, and it just requires accurate and precision while you're drawing that subject, and I kind of come to that class to kind of get away from all the other assignments, because it's kind of like a calming class to me. So that's probably why I love it so much.
Do you prefer like inanimate objects versus models?
Mostly models, because it's life. It's something interesting. There's curves, and yeah, there could be curves on an object, but there's just something about
it's like the way the muscle is.
Yeah, the way the human body moves and is positioned. It's just so interesting to me.
Okay. So what is the big difference between concept and illustration?
So illustration kind of involves more of the final product for a web page, a poster, concept art is mostly just the initial sketch. They don't worry so much about composition as you would in an illustration. They just kind of get their ideas onto the page as quickly as they can, and the story isn't tied to anything. It's you're coming up with ideas of what a story could be, but with illustration, that's the complete opposite. So it's you're doing it for a specific product, a campaign, or however you wish.
So concept would be like the beginning of an idea, whereas illustrating, you're developing that idea and getting more into detail, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I definitely know people at home would want to know what career options are there after this program?
Well, there's a lot. There's comics, there's TV, movies, game dev, design, game concept design. There's TV animation. There's definitely a lot of jobs to apply for when you get out of this program. It's all about finding which pulls you more and what you're strongest with. But that's also good to kind of get a bit of pieces for every single bit of the job. So it's
okay. So it's kind of dabbling in everything. Well, thank you for joining us in studio for an interview. I really enjoyed getting your thoughts on the program. Now we're going to go back to Jade to see what's next.
Thanks, Connor and Lindsay. Now, let's hear what other students have to say, and after that, we'll have a guest share their past work.
I chose this program because I've been doing art for a long time in my life, and I felt like this program would really let me do more creative aspect of it.
I chose it because I really wanted to do concept art for video games.
No, I freaking love the program right now. Like, the teachers are, like, they all know exactly what they're talking about, and they're also, like, enthusiastic about teaching everybody about, like, what they know. And, one thing I really appreciate, though, is how much emphasis they put on, like, not stressing out the students.
I really love this program. I love all of the there's such a diversity of things that they have you do, things that I didn't really even see myself doing before.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it for the most part. I feel like it's helping me get better. I kind of wish there was more hands-on stuff in teaching the digital aspects of it, because I'm fully traditional.
I see myself going into workforce. I've been to different programs for 3 years total now, well, almost. So I'm thinking I'm going to dabble in storyboarding, see if I like it or not, but I'm always available to sort of try doing concept art for people. I also really like character design, so if I could do that too, I really wouldn't mind.
Anyone, for like, if obviously drawing's a big part of it, but I'd say if you're interested in video games and you have an imagination, you can do it.
I would recommend this to people who, I think that people sort of need a fair amount of skill before they enter this program, otherwise it might be a bit daunting to them. I feel like this is the program you take if you want to go to the next level. So you come in if you have a passion for art and ideas and storytelling, and you work from there.
Welcome back. Now we're going back to Lindsay with another special guest. Show us what she does.
We now have Liz Wilson here with us to show us some of her work. So thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of these pieces. So can you explain what this one is, like, why did you draw this?
Well, this was for the class Environment and Asset Building Art. The assignment was to draw a Greek, Roman, ancient temple. So that's the main focal point of my art. I called this Crossroads in reference to the goddess of witchcraft in Greek mythology, so which is Hecate. So I have some references to that there, torches, etc. Yeah, for this one I had actually, there are a lot of rocks there, which I had a lot of fun drawing. So yeah, that was for this one.
How long did this piece take?
Pieces, this one here, pieces like this for drawing layouts and backgrounds, these can easily take more than 10 hours, but the more you do them, the faster you get. So yeah, this one was just a few weeks ago, actually.
Wow. So with your drawings, do you start out with an outline or do you start with shapes?
I start with thumbnails, which are very small plans for the drawing, so that I can easily see the whole thing and plan exactly what I want to draw. And I can go through a lot of those, at least 10. So I know exactly what I want to draw, and then I ask other people what they see, and then I draw on top of that, and I get the right proportions and good drawings.
Okay, so you just said that you will like bring it to somebody else to get their opinion on it. Is that part of your process of creating a piece? Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about your process?
Well, like I said, I start with thumbnails, and then it's always good to get critiques and to get a second look at it. So I do the thumbnails, I bring it to someone else if possible, and I say, okay, which of these looks the best to you? And then they give my opinions, and I pick my favorite one. And then I start drawing properly over top of that usually. And it's always good to step back as often as possible, because it's like solving any problem. You run into a corner, it's not going well, you don't know what to do. You step back for a few minutes, and then when you come back, you know what to do.
Okay. Do you find that this program limits your creativity at all?
I would say no. Usually, well, not really, because when we're given an assignment, we then come up with our ideas based on that, and sometimes limitations are exactly what you need for a drawing. If you want, you have choices to do anything, what do you pick, right? But you say, okay, no, draw this subject, and you can interpret that in your own way.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your photos with us. That was really interesting. I really liked them. Right now, we're going to do a promo reel of more works of art that students have done in the past. Thanks. Now that we've seen the many works of students in the program, let's see how they're made. And to show us is Jasmine Cleofas. So Jasmine, what are you going to draw for us today?
I'm going to be drawing the cover page for a children's book that we had to do for our graphic narratives assignment. Essentially what I like to start with is really rough thumbnails. Okay. So it'll be like extremely rough, like I'm talking gross looking. essentially what we'll do is we'll draw a bunch of these and get them approved, and we'll pick the best one. And then from there, I like to work with shapes and then start cleaning up the drawing and hopefully getting a finished product.
Okay, so does it look like just a bunch of scribbles when you start?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Okay, so you've done a couple scribbles now. So what is this drawing going to be? Like, what are you aiming to do?
I'll be drawing the storybook called Grumpy the Stump. So he's a little grumpy cactus that has no arms.
Oh,
I know, but it's a fun, fantastic story about learning that you have different skills and that like everyone has something different about them that makes them great.
so what's the step-by-step process? Do you start with basic shapes as well?
I like to start with basic shapes. Some
Okay.
people like to start with like different methods of going at it, like with line art and everything.
Yeah.
What I like to do is like shapes, because I like to block everything out. So we'll have like the ground, and then we'll have Grumpy the Stump, essentially here, and he's surrounded by really, really amazing other cactuses that have arms, unlike him.
Oh.
So it's really rough. This is essentially the concepting part of the artwork, where it's just trying to rough out ideas, make everything work out.
So you're not starting with an outline, you're kind of more going with like colors, create the basic shapes, and more like
Yes.
solid colors stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also like to work without colors at first, just so I can see
Yeah.
everything coming together. So it looks really rough still.
But you can kind of see the idea coming
Yes,
along.
yes, yes.
Did you ever did your professors ever make you do like the outlines first and then teach you how to do the shapes?
No, I don't believe so. We're given a lot of freedom as to how we want to conceptualize and draw everything. It's really up to the artist and how they go about finishing the product.
Okay. So
Or starting it.
Could you explain some of the benefits of using different custom brushes or multiple custom brushes?
The benefits of using them is the outcome. So, for example, I'm using a very soft-looking brush. It looks almost like chalk, but it's not. It's to like emulate that kind of like style, that feeling. Sometimes if you want to go for like a watercolor sort of style, you can do that through like different Photoshop brushes. It all depends on like your skill and how you end up using the brushes themselves. So,
Did you ever did you start off with like actual pencils and crayons and stuff, and then come to this?
for this
Yeah,
product?
like did you get inspired from using pencil crayons and all that?
Oh, actually, partially yes, because a lot of children's books are styled off of like watercolory looking art. If you recall, like Robert Munch, everything looks very like painterly and colorful and drawn. But I'm not sure if like a lot of them are drawn traditionally as much anymore, since everything can be emulated.
So
Yeah,
what's
the computer.
this gonna look like? What's the final product gonna look like when you're done?
Hopefully, it'll look like Grumpy the Stump surrounded by
Like that?
yeah, essentially Grumpy the Stump, written by Ali Fiezo and drawn by me.
Aw, I really like the gradient color there.
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
see where I played with shapes.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed watching that. That was interesting to see the techniques and the process. I definitely like the way that it turned out. It looks really good. Jade, what do you think of it?
Yeah, wow, that looks so cool. Maybe one day I'll have to go down and try it out for myself. So tune in next week to learn
gotta
this,
go
where we
over there
take
now.
a look at the welding and esthetician program offered here at Algonquin College. Thank you so much for our guests, Connor, Liz, and Jasmine, for coming in today.
I want to take a second to thank everybody who helped us get a better understanding of what goes on in the concept art program, including our guests. Thank you guys for coming in, sparing some time. And last but not least, I want to thank you guys at home for tuning in. Thank you guys so much.
So this has been a presentation of Algonquin College Broadcasting.